Welcome to the Beyond the Burst podcast, your weekly deep dive into
the gear that shapes the sounds.
We're your hosts,
Dave Lozon
and Sean Finkler from Lozon Music in Canada. Each week, we'll be looking at the most exciting guitars, pedals, amps, and studio gear that crosses our path. Plus, real talk about the music industry and the stories behind the gear. Whether you're a bedroom shredder, touring pro, or gear nerd, just like us, you're in the right place. The Gear Advisor is now the Rig Advisor. The Gear Advisors, which were humans.
We're talking Guitar Center staff.
Yeah, I think they called them Gear Advisors. Maybe there was a phone line you could call and talk to Tommy or...
That's not Sweetwater you're thinking about?
No,
This is Guitar Center.
Guitar Center, yeah.
They have a name for the Sweetwater guys too.
Oh yeah, what do they call them?
Sales engineers.
Oh, I'd like to be a sales engineer. That's a nice title.
Engineer some sales.
But what we're seeing right now is kind of it's the beginning of the infiltration of AI in our industry.
Yeah. And I mean, you can always count on someone like private equity to come in and try and get rid of the human element as quickly as possible, right?
We need to cut costs a little bit more. How can we do it? Well, let's put more people on the street. Let's make sure that we automate as much as we possibly can because, we don't like the way Billy answers the phone anyways.
We don't like it. We don't want to give anyone any time off. We don't want to pay them.
They'll work 24/7.
We will pay them commission, some of it if they hit their target. But really,
it's the target is moving every month and it increases 15%. So it's kind of like you're always playing catch up, right?
Yeah. I mean, we don't know. We're not in the US. Neither of us have worked in a Guitar Center environment. We're just
bold assumptions.
Yeah, bold assumptions. Who knows? It could be great.
But this Rig Advisor, this new thing that they're doing, this is a AI shopping assistant.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's not a human shopping assistant or a human person to talk to. It's an AI.
So you kind of tell it what you like. I was thinking it would be funny if it just kind of pointed every single person towards like getting a tube screamer and, a Silver Sky or whatever. It just gave everyone the same stock answer, but it may not be that far away from that anyways.
No, it looks like it does do some different recommendations. They're saying that this Rig Advisor you can suggest a song or a band or something, and it'll tell you what guitar. So, and this is a Guitar World article we're reading, right? So in this article, it said that they wanted to get some rig advice based on what's a Greta Van Fleet set type sound.
Right. And they didn't just look to see what Zeppelin was using first.
Right. Yeah. That was exactly for sure. So inspired by Greta Van Fleet.
Sure.
And they were surprised to see it suggest a Gibson Les Paul. Okay.
Well, that makes sense.
A Fender Stratocaster.
That's another popular guitar.
A PRS Custom 24.
Why not?
And a Gretsch.
That's a broad range of instruments.
It's a broad range.
Yeah.
It's not... so it gives you all the options,
right?
I guess. Right. But this is interesting to me because, when you're talking to a human and you can develop like a relationship with a person, maybe they're playing bands, they're another, musician in town, they have some sort of life experience and things to share,
right?
With you. But why have that when you can go right to the source of like the private equity corporate overlords telling you what to buy instead? It gets rid of that nasty, opinions.
Aren't humans kind of a middleman anyways? Isn't that, can an algorithm do it just as well? I guess that's what we're seeing right now is
I wonder.
We don't know.
But anyway, the whole idea is kind of disturbing, I think, like if you're going to a store, physically to a store, right?
Right.
Then you kind of do want to talk to somebody. I can see if you just, a lot of people just do their own thing online and order
They research it on their own too.
They do their own research and then purchase whatever they want. But more often than not, even online, people do like to talk to other humans about, What's
Right.
the feel of the neck? What's the,
Right.
especially if it's something they can't put their hands on. But this is, I guess, in-store. This is for in-store shopping.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Well, this kind of brings us to a broader question of is the job of salesman or saleswoman, is that potentially replaced by AI? Is it going to be replaced by some automated algorithmic piece of technology?
Sure.
And and that's not just in our, that's not just in our world. I mean, everywhere.
Sure.
I mean,
I can see we're going to be recommending a lot of extended warranty packages.
right. Well, they do, I'm thinking about, the car industry. It's like, well, they're kind of doing that anyway. I'd rather hear it from a robot.
Would you?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'd be able to say no a little easier, as opposed to the pressure that you have put on you.
Great. You've selected extended warranty.
Yeah. Congratulations.
I don't want the extended warranty. You have selected double extended warranty.
That's right. You can't remove it. You can't press next. So Gear Advisor. We'll see. We'll see how that rolls out.
So is in this world, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then are we imagining you come into a store
Yeah.
and there's no staff. There's just like a security guard. He's armed, probably.
Very armed. Yeah.
And then it's just like, do your own thing in the store and ask the rig advisor and then check out. Is that how you think it'll work?
Maybe some people do envision that as a future of retail, but we're kind of at this interesting fork in the road with technology. And I think this is kind of part of that, right? It's do humans still need humans? And I would argue that there is something about the human connection that is important.
Yeah.
And maybe until we're so removed from that, will we not be able to realize how important that is?
Yeah, it's a pretty, it's, I don't know. I think it's premature to forecast the death of like all human interactions at this point,
Sure.
but it seems kind of weird. Like my brother's a football coach. He was at some thing with his agency and all NFL coaches, and they were telling this guy was doing a presentation on AI saying that like AI is it's coming for your jobs, like the coaches' jobs coming for your jobs. It's coming for the players' jobs. And it's like, what do you mean the players' jobs? And then
We're just all going to be watching robots.
We're all going to be watching AI games. I don't know.
Yeah, that's pushing it. That may be pushing it, but I think there's, just like every technological breakthrough, there's probably a place where this makes sense, and there's probably a type of customer who could benefit from this. Maybe someone who knows less about gear, maybe someone who hasn't been, deep into the journey. Maybe someone will find this helpful, but time will tell.
It could also be like where maybe there's just no good staff to be had in a particular location or something, or they can't hang on to people or whatever the situation is.
It could be all the above, but I think that is true of this industry. A lot of the independents have gone away, especially in Canada. I know the landscape's different in the US, but you have a lot of the bigger kind of corporate overlords managing the music retail industry. And I think the end effect is a more transient staff, a more, these people are here for 6 months and then they're on to the next thing, right?
Right.
So
just waiting for the YouTube channel to take off.
Can't blame them for that.
Well, this kind of segues into another story I saw after the Guitar Center AI story,
right?
This is Guitarist magazine. Guitar Center employee allegedly charged over $5,000 to credit cards that belonged to rude customers.
Rude. I wondered what his definition for rude was.
So it's true. Guitar Center employee from Ohio has admitted that he copied customers' credit card and used it to make personal purchases that were charged to the account. The theft was reported to Cleveland.com, was flagged by the customer after he noted the transaction was made at the store that he did not recognize. So I guess he says customers that were rude to him used foul language and made situations bad for him. were selected as his victims.
So, sorry, was this a series of theft? Like, was this just a one transaction? You got $5,000, or this is multiple things that added up to
Multiple customers. Yeah.
That's a bit of a serial.
Yeah,
thief.
but he just only going after the rude customers. So it was part of his punishment.
Targeting.
He was targeting people that were not nice to
Well,
him.
don't they say if you're going to steal, you should at least steal like a full year's salary? You know what?
It did take 5,000.
Maybe that was his full year's
I
salary.
don't know.
There.
He's 18 years old. So I was thinking maybe this is sort of part of the push to a more automated staff, like a more digital staff.
Right.
But maybe not. Maybe those two articles just came up in my news feed.
Right.
For I don't know.
Well, Skynet didn't come online, instantaneously. It was kind of a slow process, and in between there was probably a lot of fighting back, and this is maybe one of those examples.
Yeah.
That he fought back in his own way.
Your rig hunter assistant is not gonna do that to you.
No,
but maybe
no.
it would.
It will steal your Bitcoin, but that's
what
about
I was
it.
gonna say. It'll wipe out your crypto account. The rig hunter has been compromised.
No doubt. Let's talk about some. We want to talk about a few things today. One thing we want to talk about is hyped up gear. We see a lot of this. A lot of big manufactured hype.
It's a hype reel.
And some of it, I would say some of this hype led to a product that is game-changing, very interesting, unique in the marketplace, sought after. I think of things like the GS Mini that, I remember that when that came out. That was kind of like a...
Was it hyped? Was it super hyped? I don't remember.
It was a moderate hyping. But that is one of those things that, hey, that was a kind of a new thing.
Yeah.
Kind of a new thing. That's not always the case with hype.
No, I mean, previous to that, we just had smaller guitars that sounded terrible for the most part, right? Like
they made a good sounding small guitar.
Yeah.
That's cheap.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah. No, it was. I think when they came out, it was
$500 or something.
Yeah. It might have been $3.99 back.
True.
Way back when.
True.
In the mid
And that's
2000s.
Canadian dollars.
Yeah, Canadian
too,
dollars.
yeah.
It's like free. It's like
That's free.
Zero American dollars. But so sometimes it's all about the hype release now. But a lot of times, like over the years, these manufacturers hype these things, and then you can't get it. You can't get it anywhere.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a miscoordination, a miscalculation.
Sure, it's like I know. I'm thinking of like some PRS releases when the special semi-hollow came out.
Right.
Great, we're gonna order a bunch of these. This looks really cool. Well, we didn't see one for like 2 years or something, 2.5 years after. Thank you. That's great because you forgot the guitar existed by the time it gets here.
Yeah, and you hope that they've kind of, and I think some companies have started to pull this off a little better, where the hype kind of meets the demand, meets the production capacity. So you get the thing at the right time, and it's interesting, and they're available, and it's the right amount, I think some manufacturers have been able to pull that off, successful releases that are hyped up. But a lot of times, like you said, with PRS, it's like this hype machine, and then you can't actually get the product.
Yeah. They've in fairness to them, they have gotten better. We've got some things
for
like
sure.
pre-release.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, that was kind of the thing. And a lot of companies did that. I remember back in the early 90s or mid 90s, whenever PV was coming out with the original EVH Wolfgangs. And there was so much hype for that. There was like, all the marketing, all the guitar magazines. This is really pre-internet, right? So it's like it's a different world in terms of the marketing.
For sure.
There was a lot of people were talking about it. People were calling all the time when they could get one. And they could not deliver those guitars for, it was over a year or something after the hype machine.
Yeah,
crazy. And people had kind of moved on.
Right. Yeah. Lack of coordination.
Yeah.
Hype, in regards to the hype and hyped up releases, neural quad cortex.
That's the Is that the ultimate traumatic release? For me, I think it's one of the most traumatic
Me too.
or orders we've ever been through.
Yeah, and I think the big issue with them is it was being able to produce them, right? It was it's a very sophisticated piece of gear.
Sure.
Super sophisticated, cutting edge. It was like the newest of the new, the quad cortex, you know. But I don't think they could keep up with the demand.
Well, they couldn't even put it out. I think,
Right.
and they were just like straight up lying to us when we'd ask, right? Like, it's true. I mean, told me later that they told him to lie to us. Oh, it's going to be like 2 weeks or something. I remember telling people who had deposits down that.
Yeah, that's the worst thing for us
yeah.
is when we're being told something and we're just kind of we're sending that message on to the customer, and it's a bold-faced lie.
Well, we don't know that.
No,
right?
But in retrospect,
yeah. And then, but at the end of the day,
2 weeks.
we always pay.
2 weeks.
Pay
Yeah,
with our emotional.
Sure. We
capital.
refunded a couple of those orders because we had those on order, and we were also kind of the importer for them too. We had to do our own shipping paperwork, which is not always the case with everybody, but kind of an interesting hyped up release that fell a little bit flat. And they kind of caught up with demand. They ended up producing them, caught up with demand, and I don't think anyone's really asked about that since.
Well, it's out there now.
Yeah, they're
right?
interesting.
Yeah. Sure, it's out there, but the hype machine was
Yeah.
severe.
PRS is also, we talked about it a little bit, but hyped up guitars, the Silver Sky was one of those hyped up guitars because anything John Mayer touches
John Mayer, everyone wants
is hype. It's a hype. He's a one-man hype machine.
It's true.
So that Silver Sky was a super pumped up guitar. We couldn't get enough of them.
Yeah, that amp they did
enough.
too. The Mayer amp was also a lot of hype.
Yeah.
A lot of hype. Not a lot of delivery on that. But.
No, it fell a little flat. We sold one, maybe two.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good sounding amp, but it wasn't what they said it was. Mm-hmm. Like, I was sat in a little room with Paul and John Mayer and a few other people at NAMM. Then that came out, and they were talking about how it was like, they're like,
Dumble.
yeah, just like based on his steel string singer, which is like 100-watt steel string singer, which is like the Two-Rock Silver Sterling signature that we have here, the blue suede one. That's a 100-watt one with 6L6s. It was based on that and another Dumble. And they're like, oh, it's better than the Dumble. Like, classic. Oh, I'm like, oh, wow, this is exciting. I like these kind of amps. And
John made it sound good, though.
Yes, but sure. But it didn't sound, he's not playing it anywhere.
Right.
Like, he's not using it.
No.
So,
he's
going
with the
the
Two-Rock or the Dumble. Maybe he has Dumbles, right?
Dumbles, yeah. But so that was maybe a sign he wasn't actually playing it. But
we see that a lot, where artists endorse products, and maybe initially to them they're like, who knows how the transaction goes, but it's probably like, here, this is the dollar amount. This is here's your cut. We want to cut you in on every unit.
We're going to take you to McDonald's every night for dinner.
Well, it's probably a little better than McDonald's for John, but
I'm sure it's much better.
And then they probably get to the end of the road and it's back and forth tweaking, and maybe at the end of the road they go, okay, this is it. Like, we've done your tweaks and this is it. And they go, well, it's not bad. I'll put my name on it. Well, let's move forward. But I'm not going to I'll play it for those 3 gigs, but then afterwards I'm going to go back to what I really like, right? So
yeah.
But Silver Sky, they did the SE Silver Sky afterwards, which was also another really hyped up release.
A lot of hype.
But it took a while for those to filter through too.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's not just a hype release. Sometimes there's just a crazy wait time for stuff.
Right.
Like a master built Fender.
Well, with master built Fenders, it really comes down to the master builder.
Yeah.
So as we know, some guys are 12 months, 2 years. But then when you get into the kind of Dale Wilsons of the world, what is it, 8 years, 10 years, they're not taking orders?
I think it became a 10-year wait list, and that's when they closed it down. Like, they just it was just like, no, we're not doing this not taking any more orders. And it's still like that. And it's been a few years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I was talking to our rep the other day, and a lot of the master builders are 2+ years. And some of them are in 3, 4, 5 years. So depending on the master builder, the guitar could take quite a while. But the good thing is you get your order in, you're kind of locked in at that price, right? So same with us. So it's nice once if you get your order in, you don't have to worry about, hey, it's 5 years down the road. Is this going to be twice the price or whatever it is?
Yeah, and it could be, but you're protected once you put the order in.
Right, which is cool.
Yeah, that's good. With some of the also all those the artist guitars they do, the master built artist guitars, that's a bit of like the hype it thing, and everyone, those all sell like the day they come out, right? Like the Frusciante,
I was just thinking about that.
The Jerry Garcia guitar, like there's just like gone, but the guitar doesn't come in for another couple of years.
Right,
usually.
You got to be patient with those, but it's if you want one of those really hyped up limited releases, you got to jump on them because they don't last. All the dealers sell all that stuff quickly, right? So
yeah,
you kind of have to wait. That's the game.
I think usually the situation is with that stuff is they make 75 pieces, which is enough for all the showcase dealers in the world to get one.
Right. Speaking of long order times, Collings guitars. So one of the
tough one,
best boutique small scale builders out there. But their lead times are, for us putting a new order in for a customer, 2 years, I would say. Depends on what you're ordering too.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes if we have stuff that's not pre-sold in the queue, we'll try and bump a order around,
right?
So we can get it sooner for somebody. But it's pretty tough. A lot of the orders are like all the orders are actually 2 years. So we just have stuff that's put in all the time, ready to go. But yeah, if you have something you want to dream up, you could wait 2 years for it.
Oh yeah, easily.
They just can't make anything any faster.
Right, and you don't want them to.
No, you don't want them to.
We don't want them to.
I don't want them to. No, I don't think anyone wants them to because what people do want is that level of perfection that you get with that stuff.
We've talked about this before, but adding the extra shift overnight and increasing capacity. Yeah, I mean it's a dangerous move too because what's hot today, may not be hot tomorrow. So now you've done all this infrastructure upgrading and bigger factory and extra shift, and then the buzz kind of dies, and now you're in layoff mode, and now you're in cutting back. Now you're in trouble.
Or you're schlocking, like you really gotta sell all these guitars. So you open up 70 new dealers that shouldn't have any business selling whatever product it is, and then it crashes the marketplace for your guitar. I've seen that happen
a few times. It's better, I think, for these guys to just, hey, now our wait times now it's 3 years instead of 2 years. It's 3 years. Or, hey, we're not taking orders. We're not taking any, like cutting it off.
Yeah.
Because, I'm sure they don't want to take orders they don't think they can fill.
Absolutely.
Right. If it's just too difficult to manage things that deep in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Too,
well, I mean, people go about it in different ways, right?
Yeah.
Some companies can't say no, and they dig themselves these like deep back order things, right? Like, but the right thing to do is cut it off at a certain point. So you
sure. Because the other cycle you get caught in with the deep back order is not being able to release new products. When the back orders are so deep, I think it's hard to do any new R&D, and it's hard to put out new products. What are you going to do? And I think Collings even mentioned this. It's like, hey, we got new models. So it's like, but when are you going to see them? Like it could be a couple of years down the road till anyone sees them. So that's a tough balance, I think, for some of these companies to get right.
Yeah, it is. It's tough. But, what's great for them, great for a company like that that's so good at building quality instruments and such nice people. It's great that all their production sold all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's where you want to be. Let's talk about late delivery. So customer orders or even store orders, things we've had in the pipeline for a long time. And we kind of keep kicking the can down the road, waiting for that thing to come in.
Yeah.
The first thing that came up for me was thinking about that Violin Master, the one we had on order, because that was a very special. Yuri Shishkov was building every single one.
Yeah.
A difficult guitar to build too.
Archtop Telecaster made with Bavarian spruce, right? Is that,
yeah, very special.
Yeah.
And that was one of those scenarios of like where he's just trying to make them, like he's trying to keep up with the demand, and he had X amount of orders in the queue, and it's just kind of like the date kind of kept getting pushed back.
Yeah. It was a expensive guitar too. It was like almost $40,000, I think.
Yeah. I think in that kind of vein too, sometimes we see this where the more difficult guitars to make get pushed, right? Because what manufacturers, I think, are more inclined to put out the guitars that they could maybe put out faster, still maintain the quality and all that. I think it's harder for some of these, real niche instruments, like something like the Violin Master. That's a difficult instrument to make, and it's not something you can just make faster.
No,
it's just probably a slow process to make these instruments perfect.
But I think you're right. Sometimes they just maybe passing over the order over and over again. I know I've got a very custom Gibson on order for someone that's like crazy, and it's been a couple of years. Like they're just stuff has come and gone, but that's still hanging in the balance.
Well, it's like our technician here too. What does he want to do? The restrings and the setups and the stuff that he knows he can kind of bang out in a reasonable time frame, or does he want to stop everything and start a fret job?
Yeah, or a neck reset.
Yeah, because that's
dovetail or something.
That's the day. Your day is gone now, right? So
yeah, your week is gone. Maybe.
Yeah, You mentioned this, but I don't know if you mentioned Gibson specifically, but Gibson ETAs are always kind of weird because they don't have them. They don't exist.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been trying to schedule stuff because, like, the last batch for the store, we scheduled, 40 guitars or whatever over a few months, but from Custom Shop. But generally, when you put in a customer's order, they're just like
no ETA.
No ETA.
Yeah, which is a tough thing to. Is it going to be weeks, months, years?
Can't tell you.
We have no idea. So
there's some. It's kind of tough. It'd be nice if people got organized to the point where they could say, "Well, hey, this is like
production schedules,
production schedule."
Yeah,
and you'd be surprised how many of these companies don't have that. Organized, but some do, and that's great. Very dependable build slots. You've got an allocation. You get build slots and kind of know what we can get.
Makes it easier for us planning inventory for sure.
Yeah. Thanks for listening today. Our podcast is brought to you by human beings that work here at Lozon Music. Thanks for listening.
Maybe next week we'll incorporate some AI.
Yeah, we'll bring in an AI assistant.
AI guest, someone back from the dead in AI form.
That sounds good.
And if you like this podcast, please like and subscribe to hear more from us.